Hello again and welcome to the Mordian Monday. This is episode 18. So for those of you that are new to this series of videos, this is where I document my progress on the Great Mordian Restoration Project, which is my painting project where I restore my Mordian 50th rifles to their former glory. My Mordian army is one that this channel is obviously named after. It's one that I built up over many years, but sadly it fell into disrepair over those years. I often painted the models up in a rush before tournaments, barely base coated anything, and as a result I stopped using on the channel because it didn't look very good. And so I decided with the Great Mordian Restoration Project that every week I was going to be documenting my progress on restoring my army to its former glory. So this week, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get a full squad completed. I've got an assault infantry squad with a flamer and a sergeant with a plasma pistol, about 95% complete. Just got to do the Nuln oil and the Seraphim Sepia wash and then the basing, pretty much. Just couldn't quite get them finished. I didn't want to put on an incomplete unit. So those guys, you will get a chance to see them next week, and along with hopefully another small unit completed there as well. So should have a squad and a half to show you next week. But the reason I didn't quite get them finished, guys, because I was experimenting with brightening up the Mordian 50th new colour scheme. So those of you that have been following the project from the beginning, you know that whilst I love the green and blue colour scheme that I came up with, and I did try, I've gone off on tangents with other colour schemes, but I always come back to that blue and green. Whilst I love it, it is a little dark. Now, it looks absolutely fine in real life, and when I'm playing on a well-lit tabletop, army looks great. But the problem is that if the lighting just isn't quite right, or it's just a little dark, then the colour scheme is very dark, and the green actually almost comes out as like black if you don't have the correct lighting. And the green and blue are very similar colours, quite subtle differences between the two when it comes to being zoomed out and you doing the camera work. So I've been struggling with trying to brighten the army up. Now I've tried doing blue and white for a time, but I felt that was too generic. I wanted the colour scheme to be unique, and that blue and white go very well together, but there's a lot of blue and white guard armies out there, and I wanted my army to be unique. I wanted to be a snowflake with these guys. I then tried green and yellow, which did look very good, but on the Mordian infantry, on the classic metal Mordians, but on the converted Cadians, it really didn't come across very well. Really didn't work. It worked on individual models. When you started putting whole units together, it started looking not quite right, and then it looked awful on the easy to build Snapfit guards, in which I have quite a few in my army because I have pure infantry guard army. So kept going back to the green and blue. So I experimented. I thought, well, what someone pointed out in one of my what people have been saying since the beginning is you need to do some edge highlighting and some dry brushing, and that will bring the colour up, bring the brightness up. I have been very resistant to this because even for two reasons. One, I've never done edge highlighting or dry brushing to lighten things up before, so it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. But number two is those techniques will add a significant amount of time to be churning these squads out, and especially at the beginning of the project, what I wanted to do was to really just get those numbers down on the table. I want to be getting 500 points, 1,000 point armies together quickly, so that I can use the new Mordians on the tabletop in the battle reports. So that's why I was kind of reluctant. I was trying to churn models out to a good tabletop standard. Now, I've had a little bit of a change of heart on that, because one, I watched a video on how to paint Dark Angels just by Warhammer TV, I think, by Duncan, and it did make a big difference, the tutorial he used. And what he did in that tutorial is he edge highlighted with Warpstone Glow and then dry brushed Niblet Green. And so I did the same thing here, and you can see it on these few models here. It is a subtle difference, and I haven't quite got the lighting right in some of these pictures, still get used to the settings, but You can see when it's the front-facing picture of the parade guardsman, the converted Cadian, and the Cadian officer, you can see it is a startling difference. Like it is noticeable, and it does brighten models up. And so I definitely will be doing it going forward. So it is the answer. It is the answer that I've been looking for. I also dry brushed the trousers Calidor Sky and do some edge highlighting of Calidor Sky as well. And I'm thinking of adding a white stripe to the classic Mordian metal trousers as well. I think that will be just right at bringing the level, the brightness up. I think that will do it just right. So, number of reasons why have I changed my mind. Well, like I said, it is the answer. It is the answer to what I've been looking for. And also it does push my painting skills to the next level. That's kind of the purpose of this project. And finally, a little bit of change of heart, which is like, yes, I am using a pure infantry army, and yes, I want to be churning these models out, but these are the Mordian 50th rifles. These are the poster. This is the poster army for this channel. This should be the best looking army that I have. At the very least, it should be one of the best looking armies that I have. And so I need to take it seriously. I need to use all the techniques. And so edge highlighting and a little bit of dry brushing adds about 5 to 10 minutes per guy, so it is gonna slow down the rate of churning the models out. It's an extra couple of hours work on a squad, but it is going to mean that these guys will be one of my best painted armies. Now, another thing that some of you will be glad to hear, which you won't see for a couple of weeks, but I again took on, and this is why I love doing this project. This is why I love doing this project, because you guys point out things that I don't even think of, that don't even register with me. And one of the things that's been pointed out is on mine, you can see it on these classic metal Mordians, there's gaps on the slaughter bases. There's gaps. Didn't even really occur to me how, but now that someone pointed them out, and people point them out week after week, fill the gaps in. And, I was like, whatever, I'm not that bothered. But then when you notice it, you can't not notice it. And so what I've done, guys, and, thank you for all those comments, those people week after week who, gave me a hard time and said, fill in your bloody gaps and do your edge highlighting. Finally, it's got through my thick skull, and I totally agree. Like, I was wrong, you guys were right. And so on 2 metal Mordian squads that I've stripped down and base coated and rebased, I have filled in the gaps, and I will be going back going back and doing the other models I've already done. So thank you, guys. Thank you. It makes a huge difference. Now, so that's what I've kind of been working on. So I've got one squad that's almost completed, and then I've got one squad with then I've practiced my brightening up techniques, all of which work great. So what is the plan going forward now? Okay, what have we got in store with the project? So I think what I want to do is I want to get 2 platoons up and running. Okay, so I've currently got 1 full platoon completed, and I'm working on my 2nd platoon. So what's in my full platoon? I've got 6 squads of. I like to use the term platoon because it's a throwback for those newer guard players who've only been playing since 8th. Platoons are not just a casual term that I throw around to, realistically categorize my men. Back in the day, back in every edition before 8th edition, Guard had the ability to take the platoons as almost like a mini formation. It was a pseudo formation before formations were even a thing. Before specialist detachments were even a thing, and you used to take a troop choice. You didn't just take 1 infantry squad. You took 2 infantry squads, an officer, and a command squad. You had to take that as a troop choice, which had its benefits and good things and bad things. We won't get into that now. So when I say I'm building a platoon, it literally means I am recreating my old platoons of old, my old infantry formations of old. To you guys, in 8th edition, what I'm essentially doing is I have completed my 1st battalion detachment. I am now working on my 2nd battalion detachment. Okay, so the 1st battalion, I've got 6 squads of infantry, squad of veterans, squad of ogrins, a heavy weapon team, a command squad, and then I have a priest, a Lord Commissar, company commander, and a platoon commander. That is 1 full platoon done. Now I'm working on my 2nd platoon, my 2nd battalion. What do I have available? Well, I've got an infantry squad, and then the 2nd one that's pretty much done. So 2 infantry squads. Got my heavy weapon team. That needs slightly redoing, but they're essentially done. And then I've got a commissar done already, and I've got my officers done already, but I haven't got my priest done yet. So what I have left to do is I've got a priest and 4 infantry squads, and then my veterans. Okay, and then maybe another squad of ogrins as well. I have the bits to do the conversions. Maybe I should just do it. So that's kind of if I was going to go for the full platoon. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the infantry squads done. So get the others. I've got this infantry squad and 3 others. So I'll be 1 infantry squad short. But what I'll have then is, and I'll get the priest done. And what that will give me is it'll give me another 5 infantry squads and the characters to go with them. Now I'm thinking, I think at that point, what I will do is go back and tidy up the 1st platoon. I'll do all the edge highlighting, and I'll fill all the bases in and do all the dry brushing. Do all that, and then when that is done, I will go back and finish off the 2nd platoon, maybe, and then add the ogrins in. Or I will finish both platoons fully. Or I will finish the 2nd platoon completely and then go back and do the 1st platoon. That sounds more sensible. Like, do that and go back and do the 1st platoon. I'm not quite sure. I might just, once I've completed this squad, just go back and just have a week of just doing edge highlighting and dry brushing, edge highlighting and dry brushing. That might be the thing I do. So I've got the plan for this platoon sorted, this battalion sorted. Now, I was thinking I'll naturally just go straight into the 3rd platoon, the 3rd battalion. Do you know what I'm thinking, guys? I'm thinking once this battalion is completed, I'm going to put together my assault corps force, which is where I get all those classic metal stormtroopers. I've got like 60 of them now, Kazakin stormtroopers, and I paint them all up and I use them as Death Corps of Krieg Grenadiers, and I have my 3rd platoon that I will complete and be using in battle reports will be my assault corps, my grenadiers, my stormtroopers, genuine proper World War I style German army stormtroopers. I think that is what I will do, and that should get me to 2,000 points, which would be epic. It would be really epic, because then I'll have 100. Then I have like 200 infantry, and loads of them are going to be like storm grenadiers, and it won't be super competitive, but it'll be so cool because I'll literally have like 60 grenadiers just charging up the field. Death Corps of Krieg style, but these will be the Mordian, they'll be Mordian Corps of Krieg basically. I think that'll be really cool. I think that's the next goal. So get this next basic infantry formation sorted, and then let's get onto the really cool platoon, the Assault Corps, and have that as my 3rd battalion. I think that'll look amazing. I think that makes such a difference. Let me know what you guys want to see. You know, let me know what you guys want to see. Do you want to see the assault corps in action, or do we want to just have another regular infantry platoon? Could all change between now and then, guys. To be honest, could all change. But you know, depending on just what tickles my fancy. But yeah, that definitely is on the cards. Definitely in my brain pan. Definitely in my thought process. The reason I'm thinking about that is because I had a little 1,000-point game against Johnny yesterday. Johnny, if you don't know who he is the channel owner of Scholar Progenium and my battle brother, both in real life and on the tabletop. And we're brothers. We've been playing against each other since we were kids, and I played a 1,000-point game versus my nemesis force, the Tau Empire. And we played chapter approved. We didn't record it because we wanted a chilled Sunday afternoon game. And new Mordian 50th Rifles took on the old Tau Empire, and we played 4 pillars. Casualties of the Mordian 50th estimated to be about 80%. We lost all the Ogrins. However, one Ogrin by himself managed to last until turn 4. He has now been given the nickname Magical Trevor because he just would not die, and he just was a thorn in Johnny's side constantly. Magical Trevor is now I want to be Bonehead, Ogren Bonehead. If any of you want to know who Magical Trevor is, he is the Ogren with the orange goatee. So you know he is a man of distinction and class. So yeah, at 80%, all the Ogrins died. I think we had 2 infantry squads and a mortar team left, and then most of the characters. But we started off with 110 infantry, and we had about 30 left at the end. So yeah, about 80% casualties. The Tau lost a Hammerhead gunship and 24 fire warriors and a stealth suit and a bunch of drones, about 5 drones. So casualties for the Imperium were about 3-1, roughly 3-1. But we achieved victory. The enemy forces were unsuccessfully assaulted. I will say the 30 guardsmen and 6 Ogrins that attempted to charge down the Tau gun line. None of them made it into combat, which was unfortunate. They gave it a go, but when you fail 3 7-inch charges, it's a little bit unfortunate. But the Tau have got that good Overwatch, to be fair. So the 30 guardsmen and 6 Ogrins did not manage to reach the enemy lines, but the remaining 70 guardsmen, 70 guardsmen including heavy weapon teams, were able to shoot a lot of Tau to death. We were the special commendations to the veteran squad, my plasma veteran squad, which was gifted to me by an awesome fan. They are the men of the match. They came in behind the Hammerhead and crippled it down to its lowest bracket. It was then able to be finished off by a las cannon and a crack rocket. So those veterans in both games I've used them now have been invaluable, and because of that, it's made me want to use my assault corps because I want to have lots and lots of guardsmen hitting on 3s for cheap. So there you go. So another victory. 2 for 2 now for the new Mordian 50th Rifles. Tactical thoughts. Let's wrap this video up with some tactical thoughts. Assault Guard is good, but you have to accept the fact that your assault elements are all dead men walking, and they're all going to die. It's just a distraction kind of effect. I took 1/3, maybe even 40% of my army, and just went, this is going to die, but it's going to draw the enemy 5 for about 3 turns. And that's what it did. It drew the enemy 5 for at most 3 turns. But it did force the enemy to burn through a lot of command points. Johnny likes to use Viola, and they have a strategy that lets the stealth suits fire twice, but they've got to declare at the start of the shooting phase, and it's got to be at the nearest unit. It's called like hot-blooded. So it did make him burn like half his command points, and I think it was 4 command points. So that was good. But they did all die, and that was bad. Flamers and power swords, and flamers are okay, but my grenade launchers were probably my special weapon of the match. Consistently chucking out frag rounds, very, very powerful stuff. Flamers, my assault squads, the assault squads are an interesting one because they are just a big fist which I smash at the enemy, but they never get their points back. They never ever get the points back. But what they do is force my enemy to deal with them, because you can't have 30 guardsmen with power swords and a priest just getting, and 6 ogres getting amongst your lines. You can't. Tau can't let that happen. I was very unlucky, because if I'd made one of those charges, one of the 7 charges, I would have. It would have been really bad news. Those stealth suits, they deployed a little bit too far forward. It would have been it would have made a huge difference, but sadly I couldn't make the charge. It's so. I think they're very, but I love using them. I love charging with guard, bayonet charging. That's what I did. 30 men went over the top, and the remaining sort of 40 line infantry moved up behind them and took the centre field, which had lots of cover in it, and just fortified it. And 40 guardsmen in cover with officer support is difficult to shift. So yeah, there you go. So it was a good battle, good victory. Learned some things. I just want to get some more units onto the field. I think I've got a lot of assault units stockpiled up now. I think this next platoon is pretty much a full assault platoon. But what whilst flamers are good, this is what I'm trying to say, guys. Whilst flamers are good, I really want to be getting my melters onto the battlefield, because I love melter guns. Melter guns are my classic Mordian melter hedge. It's eager to be deployed, and right now I've only got 1 melter gun in my army, and I've got 3 more melter guns waiting to be painted up. And oh boy, am I getting excited to field them. Melter gun power sword squads are going to be very much on my agenda. Last thing to say though, I've been pleasantly surprised by plasma pistols. The one on the veteran squad always seems to get sneaky 2 damage off. I do always overcharge it. And I had one on a Lord Commissar and one on just a regular sergeant in that last game. And all of them, one of the regular sergeant one didn't do anything, but the other 2, one took 2 wounds off a hammerhead and one took a wound off a stealth suit, which is pretty good. That's pretty good going. Just for 10 points, that's worth it. I'm just surprised. They've got good punch plasma pistols. I'm starting to warm to this idea, guys, and it might be absolute madness, but I'm starting to warm to this idea of maybe my assault squads, every sergeant should have a plasma pistol. Should I be running plasma pistol melter gun squads or plasma pistol plasma gun squads? I really think I ditch the heavy weapons and I take a plasma pistol as essentially my extra special weapon, and I just run all these little 52-point squads, just run them around. Power sword or 56 points, even if I take a power sword in there, I just run them around. I just start plasming the crap out of everything. 3 plasma shots per squad. That could get really tasty really quickly. And 3 plasma guns followed by a hail of las rifle shots from rapid fire range. Follow that up with a bayonet charge with a priest supporting. I feel like that, could really do some damage. So whilst I'm looking to get my melt onto the field, the back of my mind, I'm thinking plasma. I'm thinking a lot of plasma going forward. Plasma pistols, especially, I think maybe a hidden gem, a absolute invaluable sort of hidden gem to the fire and maneuver guard force that I'm trying to build up here. Let me know what you guys think, specifically on what do you want me to see painting next, and what do you think about spamming plasma pistols. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.